everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me Eric.
That was unique.
You like that? Super fancy today, buddy.
I have Eric. He's got a red beard, McCabe.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
That's accurate.
That is very
accurate. And Robert Doodah McCall.
Doodah.
Or doo-doo.
Yeah, well, all these things are accurate.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again to another episode of Disc Golf Answer Man. You guys are the greatest podcast listener fans ever. Real quick, I want to mention before I forget, Eric did something really cool. He listens to another podcast.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The Katina Cast.
The Katina Cast, and it's about, from what I gathered, it's basically all things Star Wars, right?
It is.
Yeah, they just talk a bunch of Star Wars stuff. But tell me what you did, and then what happened.
Well, they have this. I don't know how many downloads they have. We have to go check that out. But it's pretty cool. It's just two dudes, and they just kind of talk Star Wars stuff. And I typically will listen to it if I'm on a long drive.
Yeah.
And if you go and give them a rating or on iTunes, they'll give you a shout out.
Nice.
Well, I went and gave them a rating and then kind of said, hey, I'm a listener, blah, 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 whatever, and told them about our podcast, and they gave us a shout out.
They sure did.
That's awesome. They gave us a shout out. So that's really cool. The Disc Golf Answer Man, I believe, is what they called it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Pretty neat.
So really cool stuff. In fact, you know what? Can we take their idea?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna
just turn this into all Star Wars.
All Star.
That's right.
Okay, maybe not that.
Okay,
but I thought we could go out and maybe give a shout out to people that rate and review us, because it's really cool. I love that you guys go out there and you rate and review our podcast because it's good feedback. We get feedback from you guys other than just the questions, and it's also good. It kind of helps us in when people start looking for disc golf podcasts or sports or anything like that. It makes our podcast appear in their feed. We have 99 ratings, and we have we have 93 5-stars, 5 4-stars, and 1 3-star.
Come on, 3-star.
What's up, 3-star? So let's give a shout out to this one was really recent. This one was
today.
Yes.
What?
June 6th from Flute Bro.
What's up, Flute Bro?
Thanks, Flute Bra.
He says, I'm new to disc golf, and this podcast is so helpful. The guys at Dynamic Discs are hilarious, entertaining, and knowledgeable.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Flute Bro. And then before that...
If that's your real name.
Yeah. and then before that was Mikey1927. He loves the podcast. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And hands down the best disc golf podcast out there, says Zach FUDB.
All right.
All right. So thanks so much, guys, for those recent reviews. So, yeah, what we'll do is if I can remember.
Trying to work
on
the acronym in your head.
Absolutely,
what could
I am.
that mean?
What could that mean?
Maybe
we'll leave that for the after hours disc golf answer.
Zach Foodba, if you're
Foodba,
if you're listening, send a question in and let us know what FUDB means. Maybe we can read it on the air. Maybe we can't.
Maybe we can't.
We'll determine.
Anyway, thanks guys for those reviews.
That's awesome.
Go out to iTunes and find Disc Golf Answer Man, submit a review, and rate us with. Of course, we'd love 5 stars, and we'll give you a shout out. Either way, we'll give you a shout out.
We're willing to work for our 5 stars.
Yeah.
So, Robert McCall, you played a little disc golf this past weekend. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I went down to I believe it was the 28th annual Wichita Doodah, and that's a long running tournament.
Healthy. That's healthy. I've played in a few of these.
Yeah, I bet you've been down to a few. I played the 2 Wichita courses once each this week. Went down to League on Tuesday and then practiced practiced Oak on Friday before the tournament. And so it wasn't super experienced with them, but just wanted to get out and play a fun tournament. I've heard really good things about this tournament. And first day we played both rounds at Oak Park, and Oak Park is, how would you describe Oak? There's some birdie opportunities from each set of tees.
Low ceilings.
But yeah, there's some low ceilings, some shots between trees that aren't really like tunnel shots necessarily, but I don't know. It's just easy to get in trouble. There's lots of OB on that course, and I played pretty well out there. I shot 991 and 999 the first 2 rounds, and the round that I shot 999, I took a 7 on one of the par 4s.
Ouch.
So, in case you're wondering if that's the number you want to write on your scorecard, no, it isn't. So don't. And then the second day we played at Herman, and Herman has more birdie opportunities.
Some really weird lines at Herman.
That's what I've told people, and I feel like people didn't quite understand what I was saying. Like, it's not a lot of the shots aren't really straightforward. There's one little kind of group of trees that maybe you have to get lucky through, or maybe there's not a distinct line. I don't think it's a bad course by any means, and I would have said that if I played well, but turns out I did not play well. My putter just kind of let me down at the end. I guess the person putting the putter let himself down at the end. And I shot 955, 959 for those 2 rounds right now. So it looks like I'm going to average about 976 for the weekend. Under my rating right now, not so bad that it's like really terrible and horrendous, but certainly not the weekend I was looking to put out. So, but I had a great time, got to play with Brandon Oatman, who's a Team DD guy from Nebraska. If you've met me, you know that I do not tower over many people, but I've got probably 4 inches over Brandon Oatman. I mean, he's short, and he rips. He throws so far, easy. And he went, I don't know if I told you this, at Herman, we played both rounds at Herman. He went 4 free all day at Herman.
That's pretty impressive.
He killed. It was awesome to play with. Ben Wiggins, another Team DD guy, he got second at that tournament. Wichita guy who's just a super smooth putter and also throws really far. So we had a great weekend all in all. I just didn't play super well on Sunday.
So how does that play into you reaching 1,000 rated?
Well,
Not well, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well,
wait, before we get onto that, what is your current rating?
Okay, right now I'm sitting at 985.
Okay. And you shot.
I averaged 976 for the weekend.
So below your rating.
Okay.
So that usually in the calculation that goes.
It's gonna usually affect it poorly.
Okay,
that's correct. Now it's not
that's
like
all
I
wanted to know.
Yeah. Okay. It's not like I average like 950 or 60. It's reasonable. It's just like that's not good. It's not what you want.
Well,
is that what you want?
No.
Turns out that's not what you want.
No.
So.
Well, one side of me feels sorry for you, Robert.
Yeah.
I know that you want to play well. I want you to play well. The other side, of course, says,
yeah.
It says,
the other
in
side
your
says,
face.
in your face.
Yeah, in your face. So, Eric, you also had an interesting weekend.
Whatever, dude.
You were out doing some really cool stuff out in Tejas.
Down in Flower Mound, Tejas to be exact. I met with the city, and we walked through a piece of property that they have there. They're putting in an 18-hole disc golf course. They've got a trail that they'd like to put in there for hiking, biking, and all that good stuff. And they wanted me to come down. It's kind of cool. They wanted me to come down and walk the piece of property with them to kind of indicate where I would like to have the disc golf course and where I think the trail should go.
That's super cool.
So it's like they care that much that they don't want to just go in and throw the trail in and be like, all right, work around it.
Mess with this.
You know, if there was areas that I thought, wow, this is great for disc golf, they were going to steer clear of that.
That's so cool.
So we went through and we dropped coordinates on places, and it's going to be a really fun course when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
It's got some elevation. It's wooded, thick woods, so it's going to be very unique to the area.
So the last course that you designed, the one in Charlotte, was more of a beginner-friendly course.
Very much so.
Where would you rate this from beginner-friendly up to championship level?
That's a good one. Probably around, Peter Pan.
Okay. So like a good tournament course.
Difficulty. Yeah,
sure.
Great tournament course. I don't think that they necessarily have the room to be a true large championship level course.
Sure.
But, a good A-tier quality course.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Very cool. Everybody got to do what they love doing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, what I love doing is winning and not playing poorly.
Okay, I'm sorry. Everybody except you, including myself.
Yeah.
Glad you had a weekend.
Yeah. No, super cool, man.
Let's see. What did I do? I got to play disc golf one time.
I saw you gave people an extra 15 minutes time notice to go play disc golf.
Yes.
So good job on that.
I almost tagged you in it. Is this enough time, Eric?
Oh, that's awesome.
I said, I was going to be out at, where did I end up going at? We ended up at Hammond Park.
And it rained.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It's a 9-hole course where we got to play 9 holes, and then we did another round, but on hole 6, it started pouring down rain on us, and we stood there for a while and thought, well, we'll just kind of
Wait it out.
waited out, and then it just kept raining, and then it started getting cold, and I'm like, what the heck? So I said, let's go walk to the shelter. So we walked to the shelter, and I looked on the radar, and it said 25 more minutes of rain. I thought, forget it, I've got chores to do, so I was done. So we had a good time though.
You also put out a really cool video.
That was
Yes.
before we even talked about it, I thought that's one of the cooler videos I've ever
The
seen.
drone footage that you
Isn't
got
that
of them leaving the checkpoint
Isn't that
was amazing.
So Jeremy Rusko
Props.
and Wendy Rusko, we talked about it last episode. They participated in the Dirty Kansas, which the main event is a 200-mile bike ride over gravel roads through the Flint Hills of Kansas. They participated in the 100-mile event and did really well, like 7 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, did really well. So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of a neat thing to kind of video a little bit of their adventure there. So I did that and put together a really cool video, and I thought it turned out really good. And yes, the drone footage is always, I mean, it just always takes it to another level.
It's fun.
Yes.
It's also a lot of fun.
It's such a different perspective.
I want to do more drone footage and like throwing shots and just like almost include that in the Is This Disc Right For You stuff.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, you
You
can
know,
watch the flight.
get a good
from the
view of it
yeah.
from
Take
up
it up
top.
a level. Take it up a
Man,
level.
telling you. I like it.
But we're not going to do that because someone might steal that idea.
That's true.
So
Well,
we're
some
definitely not going to do that. we're seriously going to do it. Though.
Well, to be fair, some people,
People
have
have done
already
it. I'm
already
just
done
messing with you.
Now I know Eric's in the bag that Anthony's working on it at this very second.
The entire thing was filmed from a drone.
yeah, right.
He had to yell
Eric's
really
shouting at the
loud to
drone.
be able to hear it.
And he threw the disc. This is my truth, and he threw it at the drone. No,
His
I
voice,
did
his voice
actually-
got a lot higher when he was recording.
I did
This is
actually
my
throw a
truth.
disc at the drone that day.
That was cool.
So anyway, we got a few drone shots, not a whole lot for his in the bag, but yeah, I definitely want to incorporate more
That's
drone
awesome.
stuff. All right, guys, what do you say we stop rambling and get on to the questions?
Yeah.
Remember, guys, as always, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com. Yeah, that was right. And submit your disc golf questions, and we will try to get it on the air. You guys are awesome sending in all your questions. We are jam-packed full of questions. Let's start with Speakpipe, where if you want to send in your voicemail question, you can, and we will play it on the air. Let's hear from Boo.
What up, Bo?
Say, boo.
Good Lord.
What is up, gentlemen? Quick question for you guys today. With Worlds just around the corner, I wanted to know what you guys thought about maybe some possible dark horse picks for this Worlds. Somebody coming up out of the blue who has not won one before and taking it down in Georgia this year with a former world champion on the show. I figured it would be fun to get you guys' thoughts on that. And also wondering if we're going to see any prime deputies and when those might come out and might be available for custom stamping. That's my question for you guys today. I'll check you later. Cheers.
Prime deputies are already out technically.
Trilogy challenge, man. That's what
Trilogy
plastic those are.
So
But and to take that to the next level, they will not be available for
Right.
stamping until what, October?
At least.
After
I think.
October, when the trilogy
Which,
challenges are completed.
typically that's what we do is we wait until that's over because that's kind of one of the draws is to try out these new discs.
The only way you can get 'em.
Yeah, the only way you can get them.
That's right.
But after that, then then we start coming out with newer plastics and of course blanks so that people can
Yeah,
stamp them
stock
up
stamps,
for,
everything
stuff
like
like that. So all
See.
right, back to his first question though. By the way, Boo, thanks for the
Thanks,
funk,
Boo.
bringing the funk. I want to have to bring some funk to combat all this funk that people bringing funk on me.
Man, get the funk out of here.
Yeah. Easy.
Boo.
So back to what do you think? In fact, we were talking about this. If you guys follow Eric McCabe on Instagram or Facebook, or I'm not sure where he was doing
was
it.
on Instagram.
You can check out. Sometimes he does live video. Right before we started recording this podcast, he was doing a live video, and that question came
Question
up.
popped up. Actually,
Well,
that question didn't. Anthony
Oh,
put
that's
that
true.
question out there.
Whatever, dude.
Kind of. He didn't really say dark horse though. He just said
Because that changes my answer.
You
I
said
think.
blue horse, right?
yes. Yeah.
He doesn't really understand the phrase.
No.
So-
Right.
Sorry, Anthony.
So, what do you guys think? Is there any dark horses that you think will make an appearance
Oh
at
yeah,
Worlds?
definitely. It happens every year that there's always that one or two guys that are kind of toward the top most of the week. And this year is going to be unique because it's only 4 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the typical 42 rounds of disc golf
Right.
that you're used to seeing at World Championships. But somebody I think is absolutely going to be toward the top is Mikey Joe.
Yep.
Plays really well in the woods. He plays well at that IDGCs. I know they're only playing one of the courses out there, but he's a very good woods player. He's been at the top at the World Championships. You know, hasn't won, but wasn't he in the finals?
He was in the finals at the Charlotte.
Charlotte,
Worlds.
yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. And what a great showing he had that week in 2012. He's my pick to finish in the top 4.
Yeah, for sure. As far as a dark horse, the courses are pretty wooded, right?
I know
I
one of
remember
them
the
is.
IDGC course. I've seen that. I don't know
IDGC
the
course
other.
is very wooded. The other ones, I'm not positive on this, but I want to say it's the Hippodrome, like maybe a new course out there or something like
Okay.
that. But I think it's a little more open, so maybe like open woods.
Okay. Somebody who I think is underrated in the woods is Matt Oram.
Yeah, Meteor.
He's super smooth. He's a really good putter, and when his mentality is good, when he's attacking everything, he can play some golf, man.
He's been in some finals.
yeah.
He was in. Actually, that's funny. Nate
what was
Doss was
recent
just here not too terribly long ago, and I was kind of showing him around the warehouse, and we came in to where Anthony was working, and he was watching the 2003 World. I think it was 2003, the first year Nate Doss won.
That would have been
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
That would have been that would have been 05.
Great. We just yeah.
05. Yeah, you're right. It was 05. But Matty O was in that final 9, and he was like
A kid.
17,
Yeah.
something like that. He was
Yeah.
super young, wearing was it a Cowboys jersey? Or no, it wasn't Raiders. He's a Cowboys or a
Roll
Roll
Tide.
Tide fan.
Yeah.
So it was. I think it was a huge Dallas Cowboys jersey.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
He was in that world. He was in. So that was 05 World's Final 9. He was also in 08.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being there and watching him play then, and possibly one other one that I'm not thinking of. But yeah, he's a contender.
Yeah. Now, if I'm going for a local pick, somebody at least sort of central to the area, I think Austin Turner has a good chance to play well there. He's one of the best lefties in the world.
Okay.
Great power, and I watched him at the Utah Open this weekend, and he runs every putt like he's not scared.
Yeah.
He is super aggressive, and so
Would you consider Josh Anton a dark horse?
that's why I didn't say him, because I think people are already thinking about Josh.
Yeah.
He is a fantastic
It's
putter.
ridiculous. He just comes back and
just dominates again, or
Yeah.
or at least he's up there.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it was funny. The guys on the commentary, Ricky and Josh, were both just outside the circle, and they're saying that Ricky and Josh should just say to each other, let's just pick him up. Because they're
Yeah.
both just going to just jam him. And they did. Every time they looked at him,
That's
just
awesome.
jam. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Do you have any?
That's for the men's side.
I mean, when you said that about Josh Anton, not whether he's a dark horse or not, that was what I was thinking because of how he did at Utah Open.
Sure.
And and I know I watched an interview. I think what was it? Smashbox, wasn't it? Was he on Smashbox?
Yeah, he was on
Yeah.
Smashbox.
And there was just something about him. I always thought he was a cool dude.
Yeah, I've always
Um,
got along and had good relationships.
Yeah, he
with
was
Josh.
always every time he would smile for the camera, or he'd make sure that if I was filming him, he didn't mind. And I always thought that was cool of him, and he seemed like a cool guy. But there was just something about him that you could tell that he was ready to get back.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do good. And he is good. He's a good player. So that made me think of that. But when you said, is he a dark horse? No, he's
Yeah.
not. I'm thinking, well, I guess he's not, but it's someone
That's
that
an acceptable,
it's not
yeah.
he's not on the scene or hasn't been on the scene in a while. So
I
I'm
mean-
imagining some people within the last year or two probably be like, who's this Josh
Right.
Anton guy?
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he did get 4 consecutive second place finishes at Worlds.
yeah.
That's crazy, man.
4. I believe it was 4 consecutive.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Wow.
Because it would have been
See, Avery was one of them. That was 09.
Avery was one. I was one.
Yep.
Doss was one the following year.
That was 11.
Maybe it was just 3 consecutive, but still.
It might have been the year before, too. 08 would have been Phil.
I don't think it was. He wasn't in that. He wasn't
Okay.
in that final.
So 3 in a row, though.
Yeah.
Still, though, that's killing it, man.
Maybe what? I don't know. Yeah. Either way, 3 in a row, 3 consecutive second place finishes at Worlds.
I still think Ricky has that momentum for this year, but I think Josh is going to be up there.
Yeah.
What about the other guy that nobody's mentioned yet?
Devin Owens? Don't play.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Macbeth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is only for dark
He'll
horses.
do all right.
Of
I
course,
guess. No,
of
I'm
course.
teasing.
But
He'll do all right.
it is only for dark horses. But to be
Right.
fair, he brought up Ricky,
True.
and he said Ricky and
If
Josh.
we're bringing up who we think's going to win, then obviously you have to bring him into the conversation. I think they go
does
1-2.
he get back on the horse? Is
Oh,
that
so we're
right?
back. Maybe. Oh, so that's how you're going to include them. We're talking about horses.
Yeah, on the wagon.
Dark
back
horses
on the wagon.
and back on
Is that what
horses?
it is?
I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he can win it. I think he can win it. I think he obviously has the ability to win it.
Yeah.
But I just think Ricky has too much momentum going, and that's going to play in. Yeah,
It's tough.
it's tough.
Yeah, because
Which is good. I mean, it's good that
I could
there's that
see
competition there.
Yeah, because I could see it really going either way.
What do you think about Macbeth, Eric?
It's a tough call. I mean, Paul plays really well in those courses as well, but Ricky won a major there.
Yep, that's what I was thinking about.
Is it too soon to say if it storms? Maybe Macbeth will win.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I
Ouch.
totally think that's
he
a
can
stupid
only
thing to say.
win
Three
if it's
round
stormy.
worlds.
I know. I think that's ridiculous to say that, but I was just being.
It
Just
really
winning by
is.
default. That's the only way he can win.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question here. This is from Elliot.
Do you want to say something about the female
okay.
dark horses?
Oh,
real
I'm
quick?
sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Female dark horses.
I said mine before. I'll give you a second.
Yeah.
Mine. I think Lisa Ficus from Austin. She is a super smooth player, good backhand, pretty good forehand that she's been working on quite a bit. But I think what shines in her game is Lisa has a really good putter. I mean, a really good putter. She was killing it with her putts this year at GBO, and she's just been playing well all year. So I'd like to see her. I mean, I could see her being top 5, to tell you the truth.
Make the finals.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. She's done it this year. Been in the top.
Yep.
As far as, I wouldn't consider her a dark horse, but I think we're going to see Sarah Hokum play really well this year at Worlds.
Yeah, I think so.
She's got that great forehand, and playing in the woods is very beneficial to have a
that's
great
her forte.
forehand.
Yeah.
She won Worlds on Charlotte's courses, so I could see her playing well. Not that she would be considered a dark horse, really, but Own Scoggins isn't going to be there, apparently, I heard. So you can't really pick her.
Right.
Yeah, Lisa's a great pick.
Yep.
She absolutely is.
I like to see Hannah Leatherman do well.
Hannah
too.
Leatherman would be another, and she's not. I don't know if you can really consider her a
That-
dark horse.
that-
She's a major
that's-
winner
yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So
Would Jennifer Allen be considered a dark horse? I mean,
I would
say
so.
enough.
I would
Yeah.
say
because she has, she's just recently been like playing up there.
Sure.
I think she'll be able to play well again, play well at Pro Worlds.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one.
I think
Yeah.
she's going to be up there.
Jennifer Allen.
Cool. All right, we can move on now. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
I will allow
What
you to
about-
rehost.
This is
to
why you
host
don't
the
have.
show
This
again.
is why you don't have a nickname.
This is why I'm. Who cares? Dang it.
All right, this one's from Elliot.
Hello, Disc Golf Answerman crew. My name is Elliot from Sweden, and I hope you understand my question. My question is about putting. I have an unorthodox follow-through that helps me make putts, and it's like I move my back foot a little bit forward, but not crossing the line, and still have my right foot at the same spot with the marker. And I want to ask you if it's legal in the PDGA rules to move your back foot forward but not crossing the line inside 30 feet. 30 feet. Keep up the good work, and bye.
Thanks, Elliot.
Thank you, Elliot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
It's perfectly legal
Yeah.
as long as you don't cross that line.
Yeah. Go. I mean, you can go watch Ricky from years past when he would kind of push up on his front leg and then kind of lean to the side to catch himself instead of going straight backwards. His back foot, which is his left foot, was definitely moving forward but never crossing the line. And so,
you
as
just
long
can't
as-
cross that line.
That's exactly right. I like this is way off topic. I like listening to Swedish people speak English. They have a really distinct cadence about their voice. I thought that was cool to listen to.
That's not really off topic. I mean,
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, but anyway, It's just a thought I had. I'll continue being who cares over here.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna go back to the question form. We got a question here from Alex from San Diego. Can we expect Origio barge anytime soon? Considering the sling and the tersus were just released in said plastic.
I thought those already existed.
BT bards do. I'm not sure if
Okay.
Origios do.
Possibly
I can
not.
look it up right here.
I don't know. Personally, I think I'd rather have a TP. Or wait, TP? No.
BT is
BT.
the
I think
base
I'd almost
plastic.
rather have a BT than a.
For something more overstable, I
Well,
agree.
Yeah, because it's gonna
Hold stability
Yeah,
longer.
the prime or what is it?
Origio.
Origio
Origio.
is gonna beat in very
Yeah,
quick.
pretty quick.
And in something like a bard that you want for overstability,
Mm-hmm.
seems like you would want it to stay more
Yeah,
durable.
nice and beefy.
So, Alex, from the last time I looked at our little release coming up spreadsheet, the Origio Bard is not something that I see in the distant or the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping in mind,
Nor the distant future.
keeping in mind that this isn't a dynamic discs decision.
Correct.
Right.
This is a West Side Discs decision. Whatever West Side Discs that we sell is strictly from the decision of Yanni over at West Side. So it's not like we said no, we're not gonna bring that disc out.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from M. Mr. F. Oh, no, that's F. Mr. F. Arrested Development.
It's been.
I watched, like,
I'm only
one
into like the
episode.
second season. I know. Who cares, man?
Says, hey, Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze.
I do like Jason Bateman.
He's hilarious. Eric, Emac, McCabe, and Robert, the rookie McCall.
Okay, yeah, I remember this one.
No question. I just want to let everyone know that Robert already has a nickname. It's an explanation of why he is the eternal rookie would be nice, but that's up to him.
Okay.
Fair enough.
When I got added to Team Dynamic Discs, it was the end of 2013, and I don't know. I had been wanting to be on the team for a little while. Had good friends on the team, and the first tournament that I went to was a Dynamic Discs tournament, and saw people wearing the Team DD hoodies and stuff, and I was like, dude, I want to be on that team someday. But knew at that point I was nowhere near anywhere close to good enough, nor doing enough for the sport to be considered. But just it was kind of always in the back of my mind. Well, I got on the team, and I was just super excited, and one of my buddies, so Dixon was the team manager at the time, and he and Miles Seaborn were kind of just giving me a hard time about, being the new guy to the team, being a rookie and everything like that. And then, because of that, people would just kind of start like messing with me and trying to. We would load up a trailer in Cedar Hill, and somebody would tell me to do one thing, and then another person would come over and say, "That's dumb. Why wouldn't you have done it this way?" Just messing with me, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So like, oh, I'm always dumb. I'm always the rookie, and that just kind of continued on basically forever.
To this day.
Yeah. Now
we get more players added to the team, yet Robert is still the rookie.
yeah, that's
He's
true.
the team manager,
Yeah.
and he's still the rookie.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of it. It was never like a long-term nickname. It's just like sometimes I don't know. That's
more
that's
of
where
a
it comes-
moniker.
Yeah. Yeah. More of just now part of my personality
Right,
that I can't leave.
Rook.
All right, next
Rook.
question from Kale.
LaVisca?
No.
Hey guys, I've got a rule question for you here.
Oh, a rule
at
one.
our local course, we've got a hole that really plays
Rule.
from left to right. But one of the guys we play with has figured out how to play it from right to left by skipping it off a road that's to the right of the hole, and he can land it right beside the basket every single time. I was just wondering, is it legal for him to skip it off the road? Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the podcast. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Kale.
Yes. Unless there's a
absolutely is.
Mando in play.
Yes.
Should he? Yes. Because if he lands under the basket every time, he absolutely should take that route.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even if the road, did he say it was OB or not?
Well,
most
it's a
roads
road,
would be.
so I'm assuming
Right.
it's
So
OB.
even if it skips OB, as long as it lands back in. I mean,
Right.
I've been to events where like, oh no, and it hits the road. You're like, oh please roll back in, and it rolls back in, and you're like good to go.
Or it doesn't.
Well, there's
Or it doesn't, then you're not good to go.
Yeah, one of the holes from this weekend at Oak, actually a few, have roads that form the OB, and sometimes the best play is to skip something off the road.
Right.
So in this case, it sounds like that might be the best play. if the course designer was concerned about safety, I would recommend to put up a Mando on one of the trees so that that's not a viable shot. But if safety isn't an issue, if it's not a very often used road,
It's a park road or
yeah, I mean,
we've even
learn that shot.
What courses, but we've been to some courses where we tell people not to park in certain areas because we know people play the road.
Yeah, and not necessarily play the skip off the road, but we don't want somebody to go wide and hit a car and stay
Yeah.
OB.
Right.
So,
All right, next one comes from Mikey.
What is up? This golf answer man, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric, Hiding the Truth McCabe, and Robert. Fantastic addition to the podcast, McCall. My name is Mikey
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, well, who cares?
down here in South Florida, and I just have a quick question for you. Recently, I've changed my entire bag to Trilogy. It's been a couple months in the work, and I am just so happy with it. The only part of my bag that I'm trying to figure out is the approach side of my bag. Currently, I have a harp, and I have the new Deputy from the Trilogy Challenge that I've been throwing. One of those is overstable, one of those is understable, but I'm really looking for an approach disc that is just going to go dead straight. It's going to be consistent, and it's not going to go too far. I currently have a couple EMAC Truths and a Verdict, and I love them, but they just go way too far. So I need something that's going to go shorter than that, that's straight, consistent, smooth, and it's going to be a great addition to my bag. Thank you guys for all that you do. Appreciate it. Keep it real and keep doing a great job. Thanks a lot.
You know what I'm going to say, but say what you throw in that spot.
I throw a Marshall in that spot, and a blend Marshall, actually, and it flies relatively straight when I put a little power on it. And it doesn't have the extra glide that, say, a Verdict or an EMAC Truth would.
Sure.
And if it's more of a mid-range type of disc you're looking for, I would suggest a Suspect.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not quite as overstable as a harp, but not really super straight.
It feels like a harp in the hand,
That's
but
right,
it
it's
doesn't
a-
have the overstable finish to it.
Right.
And
It's got a
you can-
little left finish.
Oh yeah, it does. But you can beat those up
For
to
sure,
to
for
fly just on a rope.
Yeah, I think that would be a great approach disc. If
Do
you're
you have a
looking-
Suspect?
Not right now.
Yeah.
I replaced it with a slammer. For
Yes,
me.
yes.
But the approach disc that I throw for that is a Warden, and I love throwing putters. I think I throw them more than most people, but it's just because that's what feels comfortable in my hand. And Wardens are just really straight. You can lean into them, and they'll hold a straight line. You can work them on a hyzer. You can work them on an anhyzer. So that's one.
I would also suggest a Judge.
Yeah. I think both of those
It
are.
depends. Judge and Warden are pretty similar as far as flight goes. Just depends if you want to beat or not.
Yep, whichever feels better.
Very cool. One thing, I know we've mentioned it before, guys. Want to make sure you get signed up if you want to go, and that is at the Disc Golf Experience at Nissan Stadium. We'll be out in Nashville, Tennessee. Going to bring 9 baskets out to the stadium and play some disc golf throughout the stadium and on the field. There's different levels. You can either just come and watch. You can get the Players Pack, which is going to be a Latitude 64 overmold. I believe it's going to be the Seric with a specific Tennessee edition stamp on it and coloring. And then, of course, the Dynamic Discs Lucid Fluid Slammer, which right now that's the only time you can get a fluid slammer.
Be the first time you can get it.
First time you can get it. And it's also going to have a Tennessee edition stamp on it, special stamp. So, yeah, very excited. And then Robert shared with me right before we started recording that we already know that Paige Pierce and Zach Melton will be there. So it'll be really cool to meet them. And
I
hang
will
out
be
with them.
there.
Eric McCabe will be there. And then we found out that we're not sure if Robert will be there or not.
I'm planning on being there if possible.
And Eric Oakley and Tina Stanitis are going to be out there
That's right.
as well. So
Whale
we're going to have
pants.
a lot of
Cool.
lot of pro players from Team Dynamic Discs going to be out there. So should
lot
be a
of
good
knowledge
time. A lot of
from the
knowledge
pros there. That's cool.
and having a good time. So make sure you go out to where can you go? Discgolfscene.com.
A lot of knowledge, and Bobby and I will also be there.
Right, yeah. And at Disc Golf Scene, search for Nissan Stadium. Get yourself signed up. All right, let's move over to a question on the question form. The best feeling disc I own is a Paige Pierce signature Convict. However, it is too understable. I love my Felon for straight shots. Do you know or have of a Do you have or know of a slightly more overstable 9-speed driver?
Wow. He loves his Felon as a straight.
He's got to have some power then.
Yeah, that's a lot of power.
Yeah.
He's saying slightly more overstable than a Convict or than a Felon?
That's a good question because he's
Let me read it. I love my Felon for straight shots. Do you have or know of a slightly more overstable 9-speed driver?
Try the Criminal. If you
Yeah.
want something more overstable than a Felon.
Yeah, it's a 10-speed, but I mean,
Yeah,
close
but
enough.
That doesn't matter.
Right.
Speed means nothing.
That's correct.
Numbers mean nothing.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's if the Felon's going straight for you, I think you're really going to like the Criminal.
Absolutely. And if you want something more in between that, I would recommend the Culverin.
Yeah, Culverins are nice, and I mean they will reliably go straight and reliably finish to the left. They're a good usable, workable fairway disc, I think.
Very cool. Next one is from Julie. I have heard that you must uniquely mark all of your discs for PDJ sanctioned events. But when I see pros in the bags, it doesn't look like they are marked. So what is allowed in PDJ sanctioned events?
Give them those penalty strokes.
Got to warn them first.
Oh yeah.
So I'm guessing
You comment on the video and warn them. Now you're warned.
So I'm guessing what maybe happens is you don't see the mark they put on the disc because some people put them on the underside of the disc, and not everybody flips their discs when they do it in the
I
bag.
know most of mine, when I sign a disc, I'll just write my last name on the rim underneath the disc. So it's like it would be hard for you to see it unless I actually showed it to you that side. But yes, it is absolutely illegal to not mark your disc during a PDGA. And the reasoning is it happened. Was that
that was at Worlds? 16 Worlds.
16 Worlds here in Emporia.
It was Devin and Ricky, wasn't it?
Devin and Ricky both were throwing similar discs.
Yeah.
It was white Fusion Defenders.
And one of them was or
same
wasn't?
stamp. Ricky's was for sure marked. I'm not sure if Devin's was. I didn't hear the resolution to that. But Ricky's was just marked on the rim on the underside.
Yep.
So you wouldn't have been able to see it unless you flipped it over.
Yep.
So
Or marked it first. And
right.
So yeah.
So if you're throwing a very popular disc that looks just like everybody else's, I would suggest signing your name on top.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one comes from Kenny. In a one-disc challenge, what disc would you use and why?
Well,
I'll just pass.
yeah.
Obviously.
EMAC Truth, obviously. Actually, Robert and I did this last week.
It was awesome.
Went out and played Hammond with just a Prime and a Bio, the new ones that came out. So for me, it'd be an EMAC Truth because it's a very neutral, versatile disc that I can get to do just about anything. I can get it to hold the ante line if I need it to. I can get it to hyzer and fly relatively straight. So
I would say the same thing for myself. For the sake of variety, I would say another couple of discs that would work well for that would be just the original Truth, a little bit straighter than the EMAC Truth, and then the Latitude 64 Claymore. I think those have really similar kind of straight flights. If you're just playing a one-disc round, you want something that is at least rounded enough that putting isn't a nightmare. So that's why I think we would choose a mid-range. So those would be two that I'd recommend, but I would choose an EMAC Truth
For me,
myself.
being the casual player, it would be a very specific disc. It would be my pre-Sweden Truth, my America
hybrid.
Is it? But the stamp is
it's a die.
Yeah, or the die is kind of America stamp or America die. The only thing is I don't know that I would want to putt with it because I'd want to take care of it.
Right, yeah.
So here's the second question. EMAC has designed a course in El Dorado, Kansas. It is slated to open sometime in July.
Correct.
Nice.
Will there be a grand opening?
Yes, we're planning on doing. Oh, is there more?
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay. and on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the difficulty of the course?
It will be a grand opening for the course. I believe I'm still waiting to hear back from the city, but I believe I'm going to actually host a Trilogy challenge.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
When it's opening down there. So I believe right now we're kind of looking at that 21st weekend. July. That could schedule to change, obviously. And then difficulty. It depends on what you're playing because it's going to be a very unique course. There is going to be 2 tee pads on each hole and actually 2 basket placements on each hole.
Wow.
And not just 2 pin positions, but 2 actual baskets on every hole.
That's awesome.
So you can go out there and play 4 different courses technically all in a matter of a day if you want. If you want to play, short to short, then short to long, then long to short, and long to long. The long to long is going to be a very challenging, little longer, bring in a little more OB in the play. And then the short to short is going to be relatively beginner friendly.
Nice.
So
good variety out there. I like
it's
that.
awesome. I'm really excited for that one to open.
I dig it.
Kenny ends with, "Thank you guys. You are awesome. I am newly addicted to disc golf and binge watch all things disc golf on
Cool.
YouTube." Nice.
Nice, Kenny.
YouTube.com/dynamicdiscs. Next one comes from Paul.
Hey, Bobby, Eric, and Robert. This is Paul from Memphis, back with another question. I wanted to ask about two of the most popular dynamic discs, the Defender and the Enforcer. On paper, it seems like the discs should be pretty similar. They're both high-speed, overstable, and have decent glide, but I see a lot of DD and Trilogy players with both in their bags. Can you elaborate a little on what the differences are between the two discs? I am a casual disc golfer, but I have a good bit of power. I can consistently throw 500 and even up to 550 on a good day, so getting discs up to speed isn't really an issue. For some reference, I currently throw the PD2, but I've been disappointed with the recent runs coming out very flippy out of the box. So I'm looking for a DD disc that's very fast and overstable out of the box and maybe turns a little after it's broken in. And I would love your recommendation. Thanks for your time and all you do, and have a great day.
Wow.
I wish I was a casual player that could throw 500 feet.
Power.
550.
550.
Yeah. I threw 550 once.
How far downhill was it?
Very. Extremely downhill.
That's a mash.
Yeah.
That's
putting it out there. That's
Think about
elite
it.
power.
Yeah, think about how big a football field is. What, like
330. Yep.
And yeah.
Well, 360 end zone, back of end zone to back of end zone.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, that sounds right.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a mash.
Yeah, that's killing it.
So why do pros carry an Enforcer and a defender when they would seem to be a similar distance?
They are very similar. Here's kind of my breakdown on the two. I carry like 5 defenders in my bag and 2 or 3 enforcers. My enforcers I use, and you can watch my in the bag probably coming up very soon as I see Anthony over there working on it.
Editing.
Shout out.
Making the magic.
And I even
By the way, that reflector really helps. The
Where?
reflector we had, the sun in your eyes.
Oh yeah, it was
Even
so
though it bothers
bright.
you, it looks really good on
Oh,
video.
it was so bright.
Yeah,
So
it's
anyway.
it's
Oh my
brutal.
gosh, the sun. But anyway, so I carry a couple bio enforcers, and I usually will use the bio enforcers for more distance, accurate distance. So if there's rope down the fairways or it's tight on both sides, that's when I'll break out that disc because I know I can throw it out there with a lot of power. I know it's not just going to flip over, but it's going to ride that line. The Lucid Enforcer that I carry, the difference between it and a Defender is simply stability. I get a lot more overstable finish out of the Enforcer, plus I'll get more skip. So if I'm throwing a shot where I need a lot of skip, I will throw that Enforcer. The Defenders, I carry 5, like I said.
Right.
You know, a couple of them are brand new. One of them's really beat in, and the other 2 are just kind of neutral flyers. And I typically will carry those just as backups if I'm playing a course where I could lose it. But I can really mash on those and get them to hold that right line a little bit more. And in the end, I just get a little more distance out of my Defenders than I do my Enforcers.
Yep. For me, what I've found, and I usually I carry 3 of each right now. And I carry bio defenders and then bio defenders and then mostly bio enforcers with a fusion or a lucid enforcer to complement those. And for me, the enforcers that I carry are relatively straight. I carry pretty beat up ones. And for me, they finish straighter than defenders do out of the box. So if I get a brand new enforcer and a brand new defender, they'll be pretty similar for me. But the enforcers that I carry, if I'm trying to throw straight, and like you said, keep one inside some ropes or inside a tight landing area, I'll pick an enforcer instead of a defender because it has a straighter finish for me. I like
not out of the box though. You're saying.
Not out of the
you're
box.
Saying
The ones that I
you
carry are more
because they
beat
are
up.
beat in, just
Right.
for reference.
Right. I carry one almost brand new enforcer all the time for just really super stupid overstable stuff. And that's usually a Lucid or a Fusion. It just depends on which I'm carrying at the time. I like Defenders when I'm throwing on a hyzer release because for me, and I don't know if this is just me or anybody else, but the Defenders seem to fly a lot farther for me on on a pure hyzer release than an Enforcer does. So if there's a spike hyzer that I don't think I can quite get to with an Enforcer, a lot of times I'll step up to a Defender and get a little bit more distance out of it.
Right.
So that's what I use them for.
And my suggestion, I suppose, I want to say get a heavy domey Defender for your distance disc, but if you're throwing 550 power,
it may be too
it almost makes me want to say get a brand new Enforcer. I would suggest getting both and seeing which one's better for you, but I personally think the Defender is a better choice for a big arm distance disc.
100% agreed.
Very cool. All right, let's go to this question. It is from Chris with a K.
Edson?
No, is this Chris with a K? Hi, guys. I'm a semi-new player and just started to listen to the podcast and love it. My question is, if you played a round with only 4 discs... Oh, this guy gives us a little more discs.
I like it. He's so generous.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Which with a K?
Yeah, my bad.
Which would they be? What if you were only allowed to play with 2 discs?
I read this question earlier.
From the Trilogy channel lineup, what 4 would they be? Oh, so 2 Trilogy and 2 of the other brands?
2 Trilogy, 2 non-Trilogy is what he's asking.
Oh, okay. I would choose not to do that. Totally kidding. Totally.
I don't want to play this game.
I'm joking. I'll play this game because that's who I am.
Yeah,
because that's who I am.
Okay, so first was
4 discs.
4 discs, 2 Trilogy. It's really hard for me to say that.
2 Trilogy, 2 non is 1, and then 4 discs of your choice. Yeah.
Okay.
And just in case you're a new listener,
That's what I'm saying.
call.
It's hard for me to say trilogy. It's hard for me to say that word.
Yeah, Trilogy is a name given to the 3 companies by fans: Westside Discs, Latitude 64, and Dynamic Discs. And it was just kind of an easier way to say instead of saying all 3 names. But it is a fan base. And the only reason I harp on this is because we've heard stories where people who were brand new to disc golf would literally walk into a disc golf store and say, "Can I see your Trilogy discs?"
Oh, we don't have any.
Yeah, we're like, we don't. We've got Dynamic Disc, Westside.
Right.
And they're like,
and
no,
we're not
no,
talking.
no, no,
And
Trilogy,
we're not talking disc golf stores. We're talking more like big box type
like
stores.
big box stores. So
right.
Yeah. So that's anyway.
Okay. So 4 discs, 2 being Trilogy, 2 not being
Correct.
Okay. The 2 that are EMAC Truth because I'm just addicted to it.
Correct.
And then I'll probably throw a driver like a Defender. Throw a Defender in there.
Okay.
Putters or a non-Trilogy would be, well, a Banger from Discraft because that's probably one of the best putter approach discs I've ever thrown.
You choose that over a Challenger?
Oh yeah, all day.
Cool.
All day. Because I can
You can throw in putt with it.
I can throw it to park it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be very accurate with putting with it as I would a Challenger or a Judge, whatever, but Banger. And then the other one, probably the old run Predators that they just quit making because I don't know why, but they were amazing drivers.
Mm-hmm.
The old run Predators with the big lion stamp on them. Those things were so money.
Yeah, that's like if you ever watch Nate Doss play and you see his kind of orange, yellowish Huck Lab stamps. Those are old Predators.
Yep.
And they,
Yep. So that would be my 4.
They're pretty great. Mine would be pretty similar to yours, at least in the 2 that I would choose from our lineup. I would take Defender and EMAC, I think, from our lineup. And then I would probably do T-Bird for my fairway driver.
Which one? There's like 100 of them.
The ones that I used to like a whole lot were the KC Pro T-Birds.
I used to love a good 9-time or 10-time.
Yeah, the ones that I was throwing were 11, and they look like Champion plastic, but they were super duper durable. And then I putted with KC Pro AVRs for a long time. So I'd probably pick those for mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. For me, I would pick that same again, the Truth, America Truth, just because it's so versatile. And then
what's your other Trilogy disc? Would it be
my
like
other Trilogy would probably be, because we would need a putter, would be the Deputy, just because I'm real. I just
Because you like it,
I've
yeah.
thrown it a few times,
Yeah.
4 times, and been like, man, this disc is.
He
for
threw
me.
an amazing shot with it at the Trilogy Challenge we went to.
Yeah, it's just
Week
I
and a
mean,
half ago.
it's for my arm speed.
It was made for Bobby.
Is that your signature disc?
Well, that's the thing. See, I kind of battle because the other disc I really like is my Suspect.
Oh yeah, that's like that disc is like magic for you.
That really gets me out of jail disc, and
Yeah.
a lot of just if I mess up, I don't mess up that bad because it's coming back toward the basket.
Right.
So for my non-disc, it would be because I remember this being the first disc that I remember being able to get it to stand up and get me some more distance would be the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I remember that. In fact, there was a specific hole 9 at the Sooner Park in Bartlesville that I remember is I can't remember how far it is, but it's a pretty big hole. And I remember every time I would throw my Valkyrie and I would be able to get
That's
it
cool.
up there. So
Yeah. That's the same disc that I learned to stand stuff up with, and first throw straight was a Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, and then the other one would be the Meteor.
Yeah.
Disc
Oh,
Golf.
man.
I used to love that for a straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I used to love them. There was this one particular white one that I'd lost a couple times, but it was always at the lodge, so I knew someone would find
Yeah,
it, and I'd always
right.
come back to me. And it was my favorite disc.
One of
Man,
my
I used to
favorite
love that one.
aces of all time was with a Meteor.
Oh yeah,
Hole number 20 at De La. Not that means anything to you guys, but if our listeners know what De La is, it's the one right by the parking lot. Big, huge, blind turnover shot that I aced. It just happened to be the year that Barsby aced hole 4.
So you didn't hear about it?
So it pretty much got drowned out in that,
Yeah.
which is understandable.
Because
but
4 was a forehand roller ace that
four,
hit.
okay, 4 is a hole that I'm happy if I get a 3 on.
Correct.
And he got an ace on it, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Doss also aced hole 21 during that tournament,
Oh,
which is the hole
gotcha.
after, which is a little dinker putter shot. But I think in California they don't really have ace pots. How they do it is they announce an ace and then everybody goes and gives them dollars. Everyone in the tournament. I think I made $6. So yeah, it definitely got drowned out. For
Dang
sure.
it, man.
So, that was a sick ace. So
well.
That's awesome.
All right, next one is from Steve. Hello there. I'm an avid disc golfer and love the game and everything about it. Just recently, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and it's been devastating. Sorry to hear that, Steve. I would like to know how I can set up a little tournament to raise breast cancer awareness. I don't want any money out of it, but I would like to have as much a part of it as possible and possibly name it after my mom. Please let me know how I can do this. Please email me as well. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Steve, and of course, I know that's a hard thing. But running a tournament, just make sure that you're ready for the time and effort. I'm not saying that you can't put it in there; just be ready for it.
I would almost suggest finding somebody to help you
Right.
do this as well.
Right. Because I know that a lot of people have done benefit type of tournaments. I mean, I know one that of course, I haven't been in a while that I need to go back is the Bob Robertson Memorial that takes place in Texas. One of the first tournaments that I traveled to for Cool Daddy Slick Breeze to film. It was super cold.
I was there.
And super windy. And I remember going up to Jeremy and saying, Jeremy, I'm not going to take any pictures. It's freezing out here, so you don't have to pay me. I'll just sit and watch disc golf from the trailer. It was horrendous. Anyway,
Man.
so Steve, a way to do it is, have you ever run any tournaments before? If you have, then just do that and just name it after your mom and go for it. Otherwise, like Eric said, get somebody that knows how to run a tournament. That way, because you want to make sure you honor your mother by running a good tournament.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So get somebody that maybe knows how to run a tournament. As far as how maybe dynamic discs can help, we have a guy, Derek Savory, that is now in charge of sponsorship. And you can go to dynamicdisc.com/sponsorship.
Or just sponsorship at dynamicdisc.com.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We got the new email address, sponsorship@dynamicdisc.com. Send your email and let them know what's going on. And I can't guarantee you anything because, again, that's a whole nother department that runs
Right.
that type stuff. And but at least you'll be able to start a dialogue to see what can be done.
Yeah.
And again, our thoughts are with you.
For
and
sure.
what's going on.
Absolutely.
I'd recommend also getting on Facebook and messaging Mike Solt, he goes by Mr. Disc Golf. He runs, I don't remember how many tournaments he told me he was running this year.
A
It was
lot.
like 30 or 40. I mean, that's just a ton. And he's very experienced member of Team Dynamic Discs. I I'm almost positive he'd be able to at least send you some tips on things you might not have thought of before. So,
all right, next one, Bonson. I've been hunting for a putter that could cover putting and driving for quite some time. At one point, I thought it would be the Shield, but I have since discovered the Prime Marshall. I really dig it for my putting, and after chunking it in a field a few times, I definitely want to get more primes for throwing once they restock at the DD store. My question is, are there plans for premium plastic Marshalls anytime soon? I have a good feeling that I could bump out my other putters, Harp excluded, once I get a hold of a Lucid or a Biofusion.
I actually believe that we have Lucid Marshalls en route to us right now.
Nice.
I remember somebody had posted something similar to that online, and I know Rusco actually tuned in and said, yeah, we have them. They're either on the trailer on the way or they're on the production schedule, one of the two.
Oh.
That is happening, yes.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucid Marshall.
Lucid Marshalls.
I'm curious to throw those.
But
Yeah.
it has a
I'm all in.
It has a no date set. So it's like something that we know that's coming, but they don't have a specific time.
They might show up tomorrow.
Really?
No. Oh. They are coming, though. I will say that. And I'm all with you. I love throwing the Marshall. I don't throw the Prime Marshalls. I throw the blend.
Right.
But I will absolutely throw a Lucid Marshall.
Oh, wow. And there's a couple other that I think people would be excited to know about.
But we're not going to tell you.
We can't tell you.
Sorry.
Fluid Slammer, though. That's pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Come
cool,
on out to
man.
Nissan Stadium
cool,
and get one of those.
All right, next one is from Dylan.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. My name is Dylan, and I got a question about discs. So I just bought the Sheriff, and I've been looking at possibly getting a Freedom. But to me, they seem like they have a very similar flight pattern. What is the main difference between these two discs? Thanks for your time. Have a good one.
Bobby just says no.
Yeah, well, I can tell you for me, the casual player, that they are going to fly different.
Different.
Yeah, different.
Indifferent?
Yeah. The Freedom is one of the ones from a while back that I used to really, really like. And it was because I could get it to turn up, I could get it to stand up and maybe even turn over a little bit.
Not just a Freedom, but a proto type Freedom that's like very limited.
So, but it's just if I'm going to keep it real, the Queen is more comfortable in my hand.
Yeah.
The Freedom, it's not like the Freedom feels terrible, but there's just something about that wider rim.
Really wide rim.
Right. And it just, for my hand, it's not the most comfortable. When the Queen came out from Westside Discs, and I threw it, I was like, this is what my Freedom does, but it just feels more comfortable in my hand. Comparing that to the Sheriff, I know the Sheriff is more like a faster trespass to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't think I've yet to be able to have it stand. Now, I've only thrown it like a handful of times, but never have I been able to get it to stand up like I can the Freedom.
Yeah. Freedom is quite a bit more understable.
Right.
For a bigger arm, I could understand similarities to the two discs, but the Sheriff's absolutely going to be a little bit more overstable finish. I've thrown a Freedom a handful of times, and I don't think I've ever thrown a Freedom and had it hyzer back out.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And the Sheriff, I can get to do that. So
Yep.
Stability is absolutely.
And see, that's one of the things that bugs me is when we put out a disc, and it doesn't matter if it comes from us, even if it's from another manufacturer. So it's not just. But when people say, "Oh, that's just another blah blah blah," no, it's not really.
Yeah.
Because when I look at the Freedom and Queen, people could look at the and look and go, "Well, the Queen's just another Freedom." Yes, but no, because it's shaped a little different.
Right.
And
It
so
feels a little
It
different.
feels a little different. So
And it's two completely different companies.
right. Well,
I mean, that's a whole nother animal.
Right, but I mean, it's like, don't count something out just because you're like, oh, it's just another XYZ, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be. It may feel more comfortable. It may not feel more comfortable. You may pick it up and go, oh, that's, I'll stick with my first one. And that's cool. At least you gave it a try. But don't knock it just because you think
Don't
the
knock
numbers.
it till you tried it.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Numbers.
So
Don't get Bobby started on numbers.
Yeah, don't get me started on numbers, please. Don't.
Do not get me started on numbers.
First, next question is from Pope.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Crew? So, I have a question involving the Open division. This weekend I was watching the Utah Open and noticed that between holes and just in general, the Open players seem to kind of stick to themselves and not talk much to the other players or anything like that. So my question is that normal? Do Open players just stick to themselves at all times, or is it just that tournament? Or because I play advanced division, and in the advanced division me and my other card mates are always talking, laughing, telling jokes, having a good time between holes or between shots. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on that. Do Open players just like to stick to themselves, or was it just that tournament, or was it just those players? Thanks for your answer, guys, and thanks for all that you do. Have a great day.
I don't think it's necessarily just those Open players. I think all of those Open players are, you're watching them do their job.
Yeah.
So they're going to take it as serious as possible. Now, you don't see everything. I mean, there's time when we're joking around and talking and having a good time, but especially toward the end of the round, if you're in it, you're staying focused, and you don't want to lose that. You don't want to break that concentration. So you're absolutely trying to stay focused at what's at hand, which is winning the tournament.
Right. And a lot of the interactions that you won't see on videos like that we would have with other players are when they're taking scores and walking between holes and things like that. A lot of times during my rounds, I like to keep it pretty light during rounds. It's just, for me, it's not as much fun if everybody is silent, especially if people start, getting upset or complaining or
awkward.
things. Yeah, it's just not as much fun really for anybody. But after a hole's over, or if whoever makes their last putt and we're walking to the next hole, a lot of times Eric and I will talk about whatever else is going on, or that hole or something like that. So some of that is just interaction that you won't really see, but then some people are just laser focused. Ricky Wysocki is. You don't hardly see him smile on the course, and he's a pretty goofy dude if you see him outside of disc golf. He's a funny guy, just likes to just mess around. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. When he's on the course, that's his job. He's there to dominate, and if messing around with people, if joking around with people doesn't really lend itself well to that goal, he's not going to do it.
True.
And and the thing is, you can't be offended. Please don't be offended if you're out there and if there's a big tournament happening in your town, and I get it. You want to see the Ricky Wysockis, the Paul McBests, the Nate Sexton. You've seen them on video, you've watched them, you want to interact with them. But like you said, when they're there playing, that's their job. They're in the zone. They're concentrating. Don't be offended. I've seen people walk up and ask for autographs on their discs in the middle of a round, and I'm thinking,
wait till they're lining up the putt and then do it.
Wait till at least they're done with the round. And I get that people like that disc golf. The sport feels more approachable.
Yeah,
and I think that's wonderful. But again, these guys are traveling across the United States, and they've just driven 5, 8, 10. 15, 20 hours to get to this place. They're there to not mess around. They're there to get stuff done.
They're there to get to the next one.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah. The money they make or don't make dictates where they go next. Sometimes. So, and then something you'll notice is as you go down divisions, the more he plays advanced, and they say they mess around. Wait till you play rec. It's like nobody pays attention.
Somebody standing in front of you.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody pays attention. So. Right. All right, next one is from Aaron. Yep. Eric.
What's up, Uncle Bobby Jr.? Eric, same first name McCabe, and Robert, not so tall McCall. My name's Eric from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Solid.
And my question is about marking OB lines. What do you guys like to use? Is it paint, rope, both? And do you think the PDGA should have a standard on what we're using?
Yes.
Also, how soon before an event do you like to go out and get them marked? Thanks, and I hope to see all of you up here in Pittsburgh for the 2017 Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open, August 25th through the 27th, National Tour Stop. Ooh. Let's go.
I love Pittsburgh. I'd love to get back to Moraine and what's the Deer Lakes. Gosh, I love that place. If you've never been there, you're missing out. You've been there. You've been there.
Isn't that the place I always forget that I've been?
Probably.
Okay.
No, that was Portland. You went to Portland. Forgot you were in Portland.
That's right.
I've missed out on a lot of places with
Man,
with that rationale.
Deer Lakes, though, that place is legit.
Nice.
Yeah, but with OB lines and all that, you've got a lot of experience with this because you've done it for GBO and other tournaments for years and years and years. Talk about it.
Painted rope. That's what I suggest.
Painted rope.
Get a lot of rope.
No,
Paint that rope.
It kind of depends. We've always used paint. Rope is good, but the problem with now here's the thing: you got to kind of put everything out and decide what's more beneficial for your event. Paint is great because it goes down once. You don't have to worry about cleanup with paint. It's down when the tournament's over.
Out,
yeah, with rope, you got to put it down. You got to come back out and take it up. Rope can be moved. If somebody snags their foot on it and trips, and then the rope's all jacked up. I've seen that so many times. Unless you're going to do like a professional, like USDGC style or Swope Gold type style. Other than that, I just prefer paint. I think paint looks good. It looks professional. It takes a lot more. It's less work though. It really is.
For GBO, we step it up when we put our white flags.
Yes.
Like every 10 paces or something
every
like that.
about 30 feet, we put the white flag so you can visibly see it.
Yeah.
Rope's a lot of work to put down. It looks nice. If you're going to put rope down, I suggest you do it right and do it like the KC Wide Open or the USDGC and add it that way where you have a high rope that you can see, but the lower rope that goes from pole to pole is actually the OB line.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion to you. And as far as early enough, as early as you can get it out there, the better. If you're having a big event like Pittsburgh, like you're saying, you're having the flying. What was it? Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open.
Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open.
I would recommend probably the Thursday before the event starts. That way, if you have people coming into town to play on the weekend, they can get there and play, and there's no surprises when they show up to the tournament and play. And there's like, what's this OB doing here? That kind of thing. I would suggest at least a week prior to the event, maybe even a few more days.
But at the very least, there are standards from PDJ, right?
Yes, there is. Depends on the event. I want to say a national tour is a week.
Oh, okay.
That it has to be set up, and I'm not sure if that's more focused on the OB lines or if that's more focused on the pin positions.
Oh, okay.
Now, just to clarify, you're saying Thursday before the event. You're saying Thursday a week before the event.
I'm saying if the event starts on Saturday, like 10 days before.
Right.
Yes,
yeah, I just wanted
correct.
to clarify
Yes,
that.
So
correct.
Practice and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
So let's say the PDGA did put out a standard saying if you have an NT, they must be marked OB with blank. What would your vote be? Would it still be paint?
I think my vote would still be paint.
Okay.
I would say paint too, because with rope you have to secure it somehow, and I've had the misfortune before of hitting a stake and staying out of bounds, and I mean it's just a variable that is really unfortunate to deal with. So I like paint for that reason.
Yeah, and what was really hard for me to watch this weekend was at Utah, and I'm not picking on Utah by any means, but it was another golf course, and what really just kind of irritates me, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody here, but
he gonna keep it real.
I am. I'm gonna keep it real here.
Real.
Something I don't like is when I'm watching a video or playing a course on a golf course, and every single hole is on a mound or within 5 feet of OB or a bunker or both.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I get it. Throw that in there a couple times. I'm okay with that. But not just every hole. Then you're just kind of bringing luck into play. And then you've got arguments on, am I in bounds? Am I not in bounds? Because it's the bunker's edge. But have you ever seen a bunker that was like just absolutely pristine and you can tell where the grass is and where the bunker's not? If you're going to have a bunker BOB, I think you should take the time to mark it with rope or paint or whatever the case is. Sorry. That's it.
That's okay.
That's just how I feel about it.
Rant over.
Yeah.
Rant over. Good work though in Utah. I'm not taking anything away. I think Utah was great. The course looked amazing. It looks very gorgeous. Good pay. Everything looked great.
Now, how about that Ricky Ace?
That was I can't believe it didn't make Sports Center.
That was so cool.
Oh, it didn't? I didn't know.
I don't think so.
We pushed it out to see if it would.
I don't think it did. But it was, what a walk-off. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, because I saw that Ricky won by 2 strokes, 3 strokes?
2 or 3, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he won by 3. He was
Ended up
leading
winning by 3.
He was leading by 2 going into that hole.
Yes. And Josh hit a
Yeah.
ridiculous
just barely
putt.
outside the circle, but I mean, staring at water.
Death putt, and all he had to do was, I mean, he should have, in my situation, I would have laid that up all day, because if he misses and goes OB, then he's probably tied for second and loses money. But that's Josh. He jams putts.
He is not scared of any putt ever.
It's awesome.
Ever.
Watch. Yeah.
But yeah, the reason that was so important on that hole is because it's a short shot. It's 200, 205, something around there. But pretty small landing zone. If you hit the rocks and come back to the water, now you're putting for 3. Or they might have had a drop zone.
There was a drop zone.
Yeah,
there was a drop zone.
And so, say Ricky, gives it a run, hits the rocks, and rolls into the water. He's putting now for 3. If Josh does the same thing that he has, then Ricky misses that putt. Now we're going to a playoff, right? If they go 2-4 right there. But instead, Ricky just drains it.
Yeah.
And that was...
To be fair, I think if Ricky was going OB, it was going OB long.
For sure.
There was no way he was coming up short.
I'm just giving an example of how scores could have shifted. But it was really cool to see the last shot of Ricky's tournament when he was leading by 2, and, maybe he could get caught if he throws a bad shot. Yeah. He just throws the best shot.
The ultimate shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
Oh, I just need this disc for one throw on this hole? Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Thanks. And who was it? I think it was Smashbox that put out. They had the 2-camera. Was it Smashbox?
Yeah.
So yeah, go to YouTube.com and look for Smashbox. See if you can
Jomez
find
has
that.
a clip of it too.
Was it Jomez? Maybe it was Jomez.
Jomez has a clip, but all the clips that I saw that were out there were from Smashbox.
Okay, cool.
Because you could see Jomez standing by the basket.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, why can't I see that footage? I want to see that one.
yeah, right.
So yeah, look at it, because it was an amazing shot for sure. All right, we got a couple questions to go, guys. But before we do, we want to talk about an event that's happening this weekend, and that is the Kansas City Wide Open.
KCWO.
That's about a 2-hour drive from here.
That's probably in its 30-plus year.
This is the 35th Kansas City Wide Open.
35th.
Which is one of the longest, has to be one of the longest running tournaments.
Rochester has been for over 40.
Gosh.
The Rochester event that's been
Wintertime Open has been a ton, right?
Yep.
But yeah, just a little bit about the Kansas City Wide Open. If you haven't heard anything about it, I went and did some research. And if you go to, I think it's kcwideopen.com, you can see some of the history as well. So the Kansas City Wide Open started in 1983. And this was before the PDGA Tour was a thing. They were starting to think about making a more professional tour, and so some people approached guys in Kansas City for this to be a large tournament on that really kind of early stages of the tour. And they had people there who had run bigger events before, and so they felt comfortable doing that. But their argument at the time was, what discs can you use for this? Because at that point, there weren't specifications or anything like that. So they started talking about which specifications they need to follow, who can use what discs, and eventually the guys who ran it just decided, you bring what you want to bring, you throw what you brought with you. And so that's why they named it KC Wide Open, because it's wide open. You can throw whatever you want to. I thought that was pretty cool to find out. So just a little bit about past champions. Climo has the most wins at the Wide Open. On the men's side, he's won 4 times. Macbeth has won 3 times, and then Ricky won this last year. Macbeth won the 3 before that. And then the year where you were getting a lot of wins, including the World Championship, that was 2010, Eric McCabe was the Kansas City Wide Open champion.
I did win. I also won 2000 Advanced.
Really?
I did.
10 years before?
That was my last advanced tournament.
That's super cool. I didn't look back that far. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then on the women's side, they, at least in recent memory, there is a lady who had won, I think, 7 times before. But in recent memory, all of Jennifer Allen, Paige Pierce, Valerie Jenkins, and Katrina Allen have all won twice in the last 8 to 10 years or so.
That's cool.
Katrina's the reigning champion, and then Ricky is the reigning champion right now. And then the courses that they're playing this year
and
are...
none of those past champions are even going to be there.
They aren't.
I don't believe so.
I guess
because
didn't
the
look
Beaver
like
State
it.
Fling is going on.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Right now, the highest rated player signed up is Big Germ.
Big Germ. That's right. But they're playing Swope Gold twice through, and then Blue Valley once. Now, I've heard about Blue Valley. I've heard about Swope Gold. Tell us a little bit just about those courses. Like,
Well, Blue Valley,
Just what
you
are they
kind of show up and you throw a disc as far as you can 3 times, and then throw a 100-foot approach.
take your 5, move on to hole 2.
To be real, it is. I don't know if it still currently is, but a couple years back when it was first installed, a few years back now, I guess, but it was the longest permanent course in the world. And if you think Waterworks has elevation, you haven't seen anything.
That's what I hear.
This place is like Waterworks on steroids because it is just ridiculous. It's a lot of fun, but it's not one of those courses that you just say, hey, let's go play Blue Valley.
Oh, it's Saturday. We'll
know?
just go toss around.
Usually for me, I don't even practice the course. I'll just show up and play it during tournaments because I'm familiar with it and it doesn't really change a whole lot, but you can just throw. There's not a lot of OB. You just full-on mash.
Right.
Now, Swope Gold is the opposite. It's controlled distance because every hole is roped. So they also call it swope with rope.
I like it.
And another cool thing is this is actually the last year that you're going to be able to play swope.
Really? I didn't know that.
They are, I think the city sold part of the land for a not a dog park, but a humane society is going in, which is very needed. It's just kind of sad that they're going to lose a very historic, I think maybe one of the first courses that was ever installed in Kansas City was Swope Park. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing Kansas City, and that's where I mean, Kansas City Wide Open, I've been going there since probably 95, 96, going there and hanging out and watching the pros and watching the Final 9. That was always one of the coolest things, is going to the Kansas City Wide Open, playing AM, and then going over to wherever the pros were and watching them play their Final 9. It was awesome. I mean, watching players like Climo and Stokely and Ron Russell and LaRon Harris and all these top guys. And, you know, that's where I owe a lot of my, you know, I don't know. I guess I owe a lot of what I've learned over the years from going there and watching, and that's what I suggest everybody always does, is go watch the pros. And it's just great. Kansas City has a lot of history, a lot of disc golf history, and it's awesome to see them still going strong.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of notable names that I think you'd want to watch out for. Big Germ is going to be there. He's the highest rated at 1025. Then Steve Rinster is actually going to be there.
Steve, I want to say Leslie, his wife, has some family in Kansas City.
Okay, cool.
So they try to make it back for that event every year.
Awesome. He's rated 1021, so he's a great golfer. And then I think the next highest one that I saw was Chris Clemens. No, Austin Turner.
You can sort it by rating. That'd be a lot easier on you.
I'm going to do that.
Austin Turner, then Chris Clemens.
Yeah, Austin Turner's 1013, but then Chris Clemens is a
local BA.
Oh, he is so good, dude.
He's so good.
He handed
He's
it
playing
to me
so good this year.
Peter Pan earlier this year. He is so, I mean, just really powerful lefty and a really, really, really good putter.
And a really good dude.
He really is. That's true. So lots of guys to watch out for. Cam Todd's going to be there. Coda Hatfield is going to be there.
He's one to watch.
If you haven't kept up with disc golf in a little while, you may not know who Coda is, because he took a little break to work and take care of an injury. Coda throws so far so easy. He's super fun to watch. Really down to earth guy. I like getting to watch him play. I played with him fourth round this weekend. He played better than me.
He's a good dude.
Well, most people did.
Well, he is rated better than you think.
He is
Cool,
1,000 rated.
He's 1,008.
Oh, I have jokes. Look at my jokes. Anyway, I think this is going to be a really fun tournament to watch. So
if you're in the
check it
area,
out.
go there. I mean, if you can't play, just try to make a trip out Sunday and head over to Swope Gold and watch these top players dominate Swope Gold in the wind, because I hear it's going to be a breezy one.
That's right. Hey, and if it is, look out for Ben Wiggins, dude.
Yeah.
Win
Biggins.
That's right.
Last year, Ben got second. It was a national
To
tour
Ricky.
last year. He got second to Ricky, and I think I played the first round, and then I pulled out because my knee was bugging me really bad that year, and I caddied for him the rest of the way, and it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, he's 996 rated, but Ben is such a good player, really cool dude. So keep an eye on him for sure.
So the other big, as you mentioned, Eric, the other big tournament is the Beaver State Fling, and that's where some more of the well-known, I guess, name players will be out there. Some of the usual suspects: Paul Macbeth, Richard Wysocki, Nate
Did
Dawes,
he go for the
Eagle.
formal Richard Wysocki at this event?
Yes, he is actually
Okay,
Richard
I see,
Wysocki.
I see.
Philo, Devin, Stephen Rico, Ulibarri, and a bunch of others. Zach Melton. Eric, I can't remember. We've talked about Beaver State Fling before, and you've played it, right?
Oh, many times.
So tell us a little about the courses out there.
The courses out there, Milo MacGyver is amazing golf. It's probably, arguably, one of the best tour stops for disc golf. The two courses are very similar. Long, your typical Portland or Northwest type of golf. Big mature trees, gaps you got to hit. A lot of roller shots, a couple really long holes, true par fours, true par fives. If you have a big arm and an accurate approach, that's what's going to really make you do well out there.
Before here, Anthony, before you lived, how close did you live to there? Yeah. About 40 minutes, yeah. Before Anthony made the move to Emporia, Kansas to work here at Dynamite Disc, he lived 40 minutes away from it. And I think last year you helped Central Coast Disc Golf do some coverage, some video coverage, because I remember...
Traitor.
I can't remember. No, it was.
I'm
before
just
here.
kidding. Those guys are awesome anyway.
I think maybe it was a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Beaver State Fling, and Anthony was like, "Hey, if we're gonna do any coverage out there, can I volunteer?" And I'm like, "No, we're not doing any coverage
Anthony,
out there."
man.
So. Anyway, so it should be a good show out there with all the top names. Even amongst the women, we have Katrina Allen, Paige Pierce, Sarah Holcomb, Valerie Jenkins, Jessica Weiss, Lisa. Say the last name again. Ficus. That's right. Madison Walker and some other big names. So, that one, are they going live with that one? Any live coverage? Or is that just all Central Coast? I think it's all post production. Yeah, I think it's all post production. So, and I think Central, if I remember correctly, Central Coast is doing the top cards, and Jomez is doing the chase card, and I believe the female card.
Nice,
female top card. So it'll be probably like a day or two. I think they like to boast the 1 day turnaround coverage, so it shouldn't be too much longer. So, if you guys are like, oh, we need live coverage, just slow your roll and
slow it down.
Be appreciative of what we have now.
Yeah.
And I know Central Coast and Jomez will do an awesome job bringing coverage, so just be patient.
Somebody got mad at me for posting something the other day I saw.
Again, another?
Yeah. Spoiler.
About a spoiler?
Anthony saw it, I think. I don't remember now, but...
Yes, if you don't want to know the
scores... It was like 4 days after the event.
Stay off Facebook.
Stay off Facebook.
It's easy.
That was a topic, I think, on the Disc Golf Answer Man.
Yeah,
I was
probably
like,
was.
man, come on, this will never change.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember back in the day of VCRs when people would VCR their games, and then they would just tell their buddies, "Don't tell me," and you will avoid anything at work.
Yeah, don't look for billboards or newspapers.
In today's society, information is everywhere.
Everywhere.
And so to think that you can avoid it, yeah, sure. Some people are like, well, I can. Well, sure, yes. I'm not saying it's impossible, but to think that it's not going to happen, that it's not going to get spoiled,
right.
I'm sorry, but that's dumb.
If you want to avoid it that badly, you need to be very intentional.
You're
about
the one.
It.
Yeah,
the onus is on you, not on me.
Don't get
it's
mad
on
at
you.
someone for posting it on Facebook. Then don't get on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yep. The onus is that what you said?
The onus is on you to be intentional about it. The person who doesn't want to know, the onus is on you.
Yes. So anyway, all right. So a lot of cool. That sounded really professional.
Cool daddy.
A lot of cool stuff going on.
A lot of cool daddy. Slick breeze. Disc golf action this week.
A lot of disc golf going on this week in Kansas City Wide Open, Beaver State Fling. So it should be. Is anybody covering the Kansas City Wide Open, even like post production?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
With Central Coast and them being over there,
No.
I guess not.
I don't. I mean, I'm not taking away from it by any means, but it's an A tier.
It's an A tier.
It's not like it's a national tour like the Beaver State Fling is.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right, let's get to the last few questions, guys. First one is from Elliot.
Yeah. All right.
What's that from?
Say it again.
Elliot.
E.T.
Yep.
E.T.
See, I do pretty good impressions, huh?
Of an alien?
Yeah. He has a simple question. Is the Trilogy Challenge discs going to be released?
Yes. Eventually. They will.
You can play in a Trilogy challenge, obviously, to get them. You can play in 5 Trilogy challenges and have 5
sets
of each disc.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They won't be officially released until after the Trilogy challenges complete in October.
And then that's when you'll be able to get. Now, don't. It's not like the next day that
Correct.
they're over, but sometime afterward, you'll have the stock stamp for each, and they'll come in the different plastics and stuff like that. So, okay, next one is from Kevin. Hey there, disc golf answer men. I've got a pretty interesting question. It has to do with flight numbers. Really?
I want to
Is
ask
that how
a
you're gonna
question
end the
about
show?
some flight numbers.
Numbers.
During the development of a new mold and the testing of said mold, how are the flight numbers determined? In my analytical mind, I am assuming that there has to be some consistent formula / method for rating the speed, glide, turn, and fade of each disc, and not just some subjective opinion of the testers. Any light you guys are able to shine on this would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for all you guys do to grow the sport. Keep on rocking. So, numbers. Can you hear my frustration? Okay, so of course we are not in Sweden. We're not sitting right next to Thomas as he develops the mold, but he does get input from us. We say, yes, we like this, but we're thinking maybe if it did this a little bit different, or maybe if it did this, or we had this type of player in mind. What if we did this? I would imagine a number comes up from there. Like we know the trespass is a speed. What is it?
12.
12 again. See how important they are to me? 12. Maybe something a little faster.
Sure.
Right? Or maybe something a little slower that does something that the trespass does. So no, I don't know if Thomas literally punches it. That's the thing is Thomas doesn't punch in. I want something 5, 3, 2,
Right.
and 0. He doesn't do that. He just knows what he's doing and he forms the mold and stuff like that. So I don't know that the numbers, yes, play a factor there. I seriously doubt it though. But I do know
the numbers are determined by the company.
Right. In other words, when a disc comes to us and we say we wanted a disc that was a little more stable than a trespass but had a little less fade, we don't immediately have a disc in our hand and know what those numbers are.
Right.
We have people go out and throw them, and based on, sorry, analytical mind, Kevin, based on subjective opinions, it's determined what the numbers are.
Right. Now, I will say the people who throw them are the same people. A lot of the same people have thrown a lot of the same molds. And the thing about numbers, it's not like they're bad, but they're a guide. They're a guideline, and they're a really loose one because we don't have a robot arm that can throw the same velocity and the same angle of release
And
in a vacuum. We just don't have it. Right, so the numbers are just intended to be a guide for people.
And
to
you can
see.
argue all day that we need it, but the fact is we don't have it.
Are you going to buy it?
Exactly.
Oh, the robot?
Yeah.
NASA.
Yeah. Pardon me, NASA. We'd like to purchase a robot, but yeah, I mean, yes, the analytical side in a perfect world, yeah, we'd have a robot that did it. However, that would be really expensive, and I don't know. I just don't think that's realistic right now. And to my knowledge, that there's not another company that does have a robot that helps to develop.
It doesn't
their
even
numbers,
matter.
correct?
Robots don't mean anything because if I go out and test a disc and put down numbers, if Bobby goes out and tests a disc, put down numbers, and then if somebody else who has, maybe who's never even thrown a disc goes out, we're going to have 3 different sets of numbers.
Right.
So we just kind of try to take all that information and put it out there the best we can. It's not like, no matter what we do, it's wrong. So that's why you just don't worry about numbers.
Yeah, don't worry. Now, if it's just for kind of kicks and giggles, okay, I get it. You're just, your analytical mind is curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, use it as a guide. In other words, if you see a disc and it says speed 13 and another disc that says speed 8, that's guiding you saying those are going to fly differently.
Right.
And I understand that extreme. But if you see a disc that says speed 9 and one that says speed 8, and maybe the glide's a little different, but everything else is the same, don't automatically assume whether you're going to like that disc or not.
Right.
You've got to pick it up and you got to try it. And that's one of the reasons. And I know it's going to sound like a sales pitch, but that's why we have the buyback program. Particularly why? Because we want you to try. We don't want you to end up with discs that you don't like.
Right.
You know, you go to a buyback retail store, you buy a disc, you try it out for 14 days. If it's not what you thought it was, bring it back and we'll figure out what to get you. It doesn't matter what brand it is.
Correct.
Of course, it has to be a buyback store, and you have to keep a receipt and all those little things. But my point is that we put the numbers on because that's kind of the industry
standard
calls for. You're correct. And so, but you know, don't live off. If the numbers are a little off, but you just want to try it, find you a buyback store, try it out, see what happens.
Yep.
That's it.
Boom.
Mic drop. No.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have one more Speakpipe question. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if only this mic wasn't attached, you could.
I know I could drop it. I'll just do the.
Got him.
Sorry if that blew out your speakers. Okay, let's do this one last Speakpipe question, then we'll be done. I'm not going to reply. I want to play.
Bobby, Eric, Robert. Sorry I don't feel like using nicknames right now. I'm bummed. Today I was on the course, and I threw my favorite Biofusion trespass. Yes, the one that I have broken in just like I like it. Right into a metal pole. A sharp metal pole. It's got a big ass crack in it. I'm bummed, guys. I don't know what else to say. I know I'll probably just buy a new one, and then get that one broken into where I like it. But I just don't know what to do. I was wondering how you fix a broken heart, how you heal a disc golf crumb bum guy. Thanks. Bye.
Bummer.
That's one of my favorite Speakpipe questions that we've ever had.
That's pretty sad, Alex.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I've never had a disc crack on me. I've hit plenty of poles, but I can understand. I've had them thrown. I've thrown them in the pond or something like that, so I can understand the loss of one of your favorite discs. So our hearts go out to you. Yep. The only thing I could say is that time heals all.
That's right. That's right.
And a brand new bio-trespass.
Mm-hmm. My grandmother used to say, "This too shall pass."
This too shall pass. Yes. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate all you guys sending in your questions. Thanks for all the times you listen to us. I was looking at our numbers, our stat numbers, and in fact, I can't remember what brought it up, but I asked Anthony. No, someone had asked Anthony, and he's like, he didn't know, and so he said, "Hey, how many downloads do we get per month?" And I said, "How many do you think?" And he gave me a number, and I thought, "Whoa, that's a big number," he said. I thought, well, no, not quite. And then when I looked at it, we're actually more than what he thought we were. And so it's really awesome that you guys tune in every week to listen to us and download the episodes. Thank you so much for that. It's just an honor, and it's humbling that you guys are willing to listen to us. I know some of you listen to us while you work out, while you putt, while you're cleaning, while you're driving. And so we thank you so much for that. Remember, if you give us a review on iTunes, we'll give you some shout-outs on the show. So thank you so much for that. Keep sending your questions in.
Was the number that he said 10?
Oh, just 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we were 12. No.
And we were just over that.
Just over that. No, it was much more.
Cool.
Much more than 10.
Cool.
So, all right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.